Naba Menemo Kasei Nyami Adomwa 31st January 2026 and a new patriotic party for Ombakwa Kotwaba Nomudia yi omo flag bearer Wobedu omanim Nyami Adomwa 2028 abaton na aspirant omo contest no Ora Kwabena Japan ka ho Ora Dr. Yawase Adutum ka ho engineer Kwabena Japan mesremo Dr. Yawase Adutum ka ho Dr. Mamudu Bawumia ka ho Dr. Brane Champon eka ho ana akompre ko ohine Japan esoka ho na asembia ba asembia okay all right mamenko ahoma no so me ba beto NPP de no so e de amamo mamenko ahoma no so na me na obribu an entwetwe nkomo na mo wachi o
ya me je so
e bibi aboko de
Nyame dawo
ye de radiasi na meno kasesese Ghana ye bubuja ye ne ye nya lawyer foi ya sumne ye bibia ye kasra ne an ene se ye former chief justice Mame Gertrude Tokono na enkofo bi di ko se ye nyini free na konya se free se wa ye no ma bia ene ne office no ebabra na pano otwa no ye koba back and forth Mame si wompene no de kodan ECOWAS de ade a enra ade bia ba na yesi ECOWAS fo ato na sem lagu ne lawyer so owura yikwe otu se ntesa na mom ye different one bi na ECOWAS fo no about agu na mo nya human right de ne ya ama ya suma ye kese ne meso wadama wo no wa ye lawyer ni panyina Ghana obi anim wo no asa ye deputy ya yipen no meso na chiemu asam no pa mu ti se pa
yeah okay me that's it it looks like me kind of cross me akoso Ghana na I know bisa say na ye de whether we drop yeah conhefa wala be very honest ma me no me de wakonkodene at least I said them be kura and some men and ye ke bi kura wabama bu ama wajai
yeah
but wakonkodene and she herself as ama marano yehune ni so ene ne mpompo so dabia nya dabia obi be kokot na ebia ebeba ubedi bema na obedi for na ope bet sometimes be a decision be a court in the bema na ebo ama yehu mrano ne mpompo so na eni ni chimu ni chimu but in the media we are wo pa say Ghana pa ba bia ye biduru from 6 March 1957 na Chief Justice Don Kwame Nkrumah came in 58 Opamo Akukosa. Then we have an incident which happened with Champon Tide on also Pam the then Chief Justice. He felt after 1992 no a Sanima with the better term of the past. But you know we are witnessing these things. So is this the very Ghana Anka SBA nim say ye wo yenim yakọ yenim we asi agidini abibire bi akodini na se sabio enema ekọ na chiki se bia wo di arokongo na se bro Sudan and I say sure I talk on no case you the call ECOWAS court na utie the deputy attorney general akanya wakana try talk on no case ya this say meanwhile, ni omu can say we know ya this say but your jurisdiction say you be the assembly. I don't the only deputy attorney general one can say. Aname boy.
Na meton kapa.
It is not fair. If you are deputy minister for justice attorney general, you need to be fair, professionally or ethically. Professionally, ethically, morally, legally. You need to be fair and honest and sincere. You don't pick and choose. You don't pick and choose. Hey, Sabi. From 1982, Obeda Samoa was the Minister for Justice Attorney General. To 2000. Martin Amidu Numina Bako, Obeda Samoa Numina Bako. 80 Justice website, that also the Bako. Obeba Ako. Na uba na ukwa say na ebe ka fam so Why don't you be honest and sincere and professionally and ethically and legally and morally and say, oh, and I'm an objection or month doing to it. But yes, I see a preliminary objection, so we need jurisdiction. Yes, by Nyan too. After all, and no and sorry. And my mom, your image intact, your dignity is intact.
Not just say the interim orders now, my men on anchor or file. ECOWAS court to lecture say sa 3 weeks no o me ka asem 3 weeks ansan wode ba ene ba konso ye dia wie nti wontimi nya yi no eno na na senka justice Srim Sare ne ebechechire mu say eno nti na ama ma me ya anje ECOWAS abonu atwagu na mo the human right de ne de ene de ECOWAS atwa de abrayen say ye be koso adi o mo file defense bra
exactly. Oh, so Mr. Pebebre, both from Peter and this time, who from issue be a mechano senior, mencano senior, men quite by Yamide.
And the cran and I be walk cry because for credit because Antina no and people in mappa and the crack.
Me a people, but no, me uncle Pono and kill me say, Sabi can front you. Who can summon the truckers in? There be a people for be bomb some more. There be a DC for us to be bomb some more. There be a big catch us or not the country post when you win your big gun. But you know, I'm not worried, you know. We need to be fair and honest. I mean, so that's the same signing some more kind in your the agenda as an individual in your free. And now they have jurisdiction. Also, more jurisdiction, so they'll go into the matter. But look, no serious investor coming from the UK, US, Canada, Holland, Belgium, or it is a former chief justice here, you say, yeah, you come and invest. The investors who will come will be only investors from the Asia. People coming from China, India, people from serious investors from Australia won't come. We are seeing only per monitor. So say we mama what you say be able boss of Manchester United, Manchester City, what in yes.
Maintain and I talk catch me.
The Qatarian businessman Al Mansour and so Dr. Isokuja Tablako, one of the richest in the world. About 1 week ago, sir. Al Mansour company, woman finance RSF in Sudan.
Hey,
Asampa. About just about 7 days ago. And if it is true, we can answer when you receive we are seeing because apart from Manchester City, or another team do France.
Yeah.
And then the business investments are 1 year because we are seeing now, we to establish a fact, and we are seeing in Argentina. Almansu, the Rabaho, and Africa now. Sanctions are being pushed, so and then we are saying one. Sabi nimbiani nyansantino ama kindergarten politics na abawi. Oh, say substantive issue is more jurisdiction. Better be ready.
Okay, na ye mon kro kakra bi na ye ebrenity. Na me pese me busa say ye maame get to toko no. Oye mranim ni mapa am say wa rise ababe a chief justice pay. Na ntina wonim the ECOWAS court no almost status ban say ye di asem wi a anaso person de asem kwa ye di asem na wi no sa 3 weeks ultimatum na anaso status ban ntina wonim anto tabiri de ko honum.
Never mind. I mean, we don't try to, as it were, men try to say be a what can be etia or non and lawyers wako. Objection be ya to be so yanyan to anameboa.
Ane.
I don't know, Mr. Ghana so ko with your objection. Na Ghana so nim se ECOWAS court or kwan so bit mediasem. I don't know Mr. so. I don't know Mr. so. No, minor thing is because is this the very Ghana pa na yes. Even when they end this thing one, na man for a cast is this the very Ghana no I can. But you would hear
me. Panana.
Sometimes all monitor parliamentary procedures, social DC, MPC, Binimukasa. What was I say? It were MP. What you some no canoe? It were MP.
Trouble.
Madam, I mean, more be a demu. Trouble, Pisiga. I mean, it were MP. Just as someone canoe, Shaba could be police depending on call retirement or MP at 2020. National. Now,
Lancini.
I see you see, and in a stampede. I mean, how do you talk like that? A member of parliament? Because he wants to be in parliament, or we're parliament. And you will parliament, you know. He just said, in Sabio said, you say, who mean Chasama, as a person be a pejanensa. No casa, no qua, if you for the new crew from say, but we showed you know casa. Atrobunia, some your Cayenne, Pusigania, some more kind. Any serious constituency be a canesta bed to Abama.
Oh, and a crane, and I know any and a crane. Cry will make sure, say, the next year, you know, so much share Germany year. You better make sure someone call parliament because Nana, I say, baby, I didn't econo, a year, or be a person call parliament here or guest house. It's yes,
of course, Uncle K. I monitor there's an MPP. Look, let me very some MPP. That's just being Casami MPP in T. And maybe I make us up. So, what here, Gideon Wako, the doctor, I was a Wale MP, other Wale or
I'm Mahuno, Tenteno.
What here,
Kojo Ponkruma.
Look at Kojo Ponkruma. You enjoy.
I'm not done prenum.
I'm not done prenum.
Now, are you a free year?
So you sit down and you enjoy. Say, Nanka Yanka, young people for no contributing. I mean, you find your book.
Yo, Nana, but a brand new company come. I mean, we say some way, Nanka. Yan Konami Bisa say, I ECOWAS court, they say, a almost jurisdiction, say, my man, the idea, Beba Hono. So the human right aspect now, follow within their jurisdiction. Our binders say, and no encounter jurisdiction, and they say, ECOWAS court to say a binding file or defense. Say yeah, file a defense and fan consequences be ohana.
So they will pronounce on it. Omobaka and Yomobakano says I cannot preempt Yombaka, Mintimin Casamebo Muslim. I can't. You Abranasari, so teams Abranasari, so so missions.
Aye.
Very solid. Very, very solid. But shall MPP minority no almost very solid.
Okay, Nana Bedasi. Very, very, very solid. Nana come a pebisao MPP for Prosi Maakye dear free hold me. Nan ka wache wa adwene kakra na nke ya need the powerful fracas. My 30 seconds. Say NPP for Prosi vote yes mo committee ne tena sene me yenya ade a Prosi no ba atum.
Whether proxy or no proxy, I've been telling the MPP. Means I tell you, do baby Kebe Yankese Mimia Manana Metanasi. Why? From 2012, 2013, by Nana Mekachira Womose, Monma Enya card bearing members. Obia all party MPP. No man so produce certain CDC, certain CDC, Otia or your card bearing member. Or your card bearing member panel now or qualified to contest, to vote and then to be voted for. Not just a delegate system be anyhow. Master Sabaya MPP for years and Kagana have been because we are about one, they lost about 40 to 50 seats. Internal recurrence. Obi was cut into a boom cam other among foreign a gubechi. Into or am I delegates in Sika, one winning, but a general elections.
Okay.
And they lost a lot of promise. Even take the Bono region, for instance. City Bakuna Omunya and Damwan or your mono. What I hear?
Yeah.
First time. Sanyasa Damwaya first time and Kamama for Nekoya and Kapi nearby city.
I see.
I have for Sanya Gideon Wako and a Frida Prempe Nekoya in Kapi nearby city. A Kati across so many. And they are not prepared to accept the fact that NDC did that in 2016. But NDC, it was very good, just that the timing was wrong. Nakabe 3 months pay. NDC said, proxy, no proxy. a way better. I didn't know woman party member bien your card. Obia pay dues. Yes, I now call a lasula la se okako pay iska. Obia pay dues. Eti oti kurebiase, oti tokrom, oti kokwase, oti he no ye pay that member. About to be constituency, about to be regional, about to be national, about to be flag bearer. I guess it's an I bet general elections Clamaka say. Yen trust can be my man for no Kofi go for a man for. Remember now this kind of the book I say the bottom. Won't come baby uncle Frebia.
Okay.
It is how you know says I must move to. Does it make sense to be US, or do Canada, or do Germany on for playing Metwaba? Does it make sense? I know Makan when I was the Deputy General Secretary 2015, Mekaya, the time working on that job, Mekaya, Freddie Blaze, Mekaya, up Makan, and no, I don't know more issue. Because look, in a certain region, 2024, in one constituency, one delegate, Kumasi Kru, one delegate received 15,000 Ghana cedis. One delegate from 3 contestants, 15,000. And I mean, when you have to feel, you know, MPP, you know, Yashisha, you know, more so. Now, they say, a Mokotwama MP, Mokosal, when you're 15,000. No, I know they are more than so. A general election. Okay, I mean, sorry, I mean, Kotwaba, Meko.
Nana, I'm Pamecramenco, and I better say,
but the point is that, look, Usha will be in trouble.
Hey,
candidates no mukoni no bia very good. Wo ma agina no nyina obia ade, obia bo no ho modere, obia PMP, but obia ntimi ntwaba ubi.
It is still about Dr. Bamia Berry no.
Oh yeah, obia ntimi. Oh, I say Ghana politics no, any a people politics here. Me da bia be no me fa na say no me dey no nsu, me dey twetwe me say, me dey am pause.
Etina Dr. Bamia obetimi win be how many percentage?
Oh, I can't tell, but the bottom line is Oben winning.
Are you? Nani yebedasi,
but the bottom line is that Oben winning.
Alright. Nana yebedasi pi we Nana Obibuahin Nana Obibuahin former deputy general secretary Edema New Patriotic Party and former deputy interior minister. And I'm what is here and a train common. Ye call Zoom Sisiani lawyer Kwesi Kwatin at train common. Lawyer Kwesi Kwatin a senior spokesperson at the Kennedy Ohine a compre Japan a campaign team no yanada better train command the shortest town now. Mamenka will say a nay. All right, I got some more memoir.
Bram is also good one, let's say.
Nyanko Padaro ma bibia boko na ka kire ye. Ene ye danya ne ya. Ne enra ni na otwi mu ni na. Ye say committee o mo be hwe mabana. Mo be to no 2026 31st January no. Say mo two proxy no proxy ye ntimi nto. Na asem ye ba ye ya twe ne sra ni abasasa. Mo no as a Canada Japan. Mo camp no mo fa ne say.
First of all, I may try to go through our constitution just now to see what the constitution even says about the proxy in America. I bet to differ, but of course, I'm open for education. So, proxy home it is not provided in our constitution. I said Ghana, about to I can was man the BSA to buy say a proxy. It's just an election guideline.
Today, CI.
Yes. So over Ghana, idea was a CI at the Europa by maybe 2008. I'm on the phone in a can set up police stations in the other, and I exchange to the same constitutional instrument, guide the guidelines that say about the proxy in the other by. In a similar vein, I'm yet to see any provision of a proxy in our constitution. So when people say so, we are disenfranchising proxy voters. I want them to understand it from that perspective. Say your constitution, you cry and come with some say proxy be because that is the first point I want to make. Now, secondly, my team for California, so to say, yeah, Canada Japan come, be against a crime be able be actually. Indeed, it was Kennedy now was share advocacy class said. Former appointees and former executives and money are then we should expand the hub. One quite an uncle say Imbium Krama party ni be intimate to be. It will be the last people I bear against will be a Sebu or better than our drink. They will come more in regards to your buyer country. But our witness said they be you will say in the last election, 2023 prime minister, one of the ways are one more compromising the integrity of the elections. Through this proxy voting. I'm sure it is also part of the reasons the Presidential Election Committee also say one more come be boma acquires a besepade kuna habai 24 set by Nansafum. One more say proxy has a chance of compromising the integrity of our elections. Now we're party to say party the munjo. And the so because the proxy we are same for proxy we are say proxy compromise any adjubro and a couple is almost they make the argument to be say on Motabuchi. It is not the case. Obi or Ghana crabit my eye proxy nibi. Because Ubi Abeka say me Famikuro Santa Chem Domiabra a 2 about Agugua, Sabani a 1 center. Ubi for a farm plane neighbor. You won't move free call Germany at the creator insurance on my the Abba. Side background, Sesebi said, 2 to man, the 50 cities and 900 cities square the a car, and I said, would drew remand the eba. The value of 50 cities, and that will be a wood to US, be a wood take it off, be $800 in and out the other day, Abato. But we are saying, say proxy, a chance about compromising the integrity of the elections. A quamper, so the kind of say, you kind of say, a choir. One more Sebio Sikawa of them. One more, a bit may use to influential individuals. And we know, say, among yourself, we know the plan. You be friendly paper 20, 30,000, 40,000 good them. You got to say, show any my own tongue for her, we be track her. Now, no, who the boogie and Buakai. Oh, one of they were warning in your ordinance said, 1 month to about Dr. Baumia. Near the same Pakraku is China him for me to say Bugina Bonim, a Domako Jina software him, a Domako Yesi, near we are a Petequa and Sempa de Assembly. And 2 Ziga will vote to your true dean from Point S. Cotono. Because here in the winning, maybe also I want to send a Crentino. Then you go and tell any past message when we vote to no crowd. We drew her many into any among Coto. In Tobacco for betting me the votes bear a beer 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 good them before I ever start the election. And we are aware of that. Now, that is not even a case. A case in say, if the Presidential Election Committee had already made a decision, say one more really proxy out, then they inform one decision, one more case be compromising the integrity of the election. Afi, then one company or more far backdoor to come. Use the external executives, the whole external executives we are seeing no yesterday, they are just 800. Indeed, to be very honest, the external executive vote may not even be so that wildly significant about alter the elections. But one more policy in command, the local people are one more. But in any event, Ziega me this year.
Bebao, lawyer Jina Sumame, my memories are same way. Yenim say. Ebi mo honomwa yes last elections no ye camp bi mu good dem ni age o mu vote baby obeto akọ ni ato vote ni akoto am baby different, that is fine. But ebia na me na from pond ye menye bi me dey ka sam se bia ma me fa Edubu anye example on the NPP ni Edubu anye die ebia na onye bi na mebe pese beto aba ni bi ba bibi nti ebia sa particular time me nyan to sa aba no enti bia me da hospital. And I made me vote be so uncomfortable me genuinely, and that person I have warned him, say, don't go say me me vote na me the man. Say catch me say my proxy name maswa, and then me would disenfranchise me. And then me find with the name right now would take care of me. You are speaking about rights goes with responsibilities. Rights don't go in a vacuum. In the right there, any pay koto 218,000. Obia bit makoda, maybe appendix for the proxy among no be sorry abeto. Your right goes with responsibilities, and democracy has always been an expensive venture. Democracy, why is my cake? I don't just say you sorry ya na de obia hwehwe na ye. Na no aba ye koto Europa Europa. See in Europa 52 times BC neck. Na no aba ye koto ye Obia the Kotoy, dear December elections here Kotoy. Over 18 million voters are album. Asante rating
one more about to crime voter turnout, you say, and around 65%. The whole country voter turnout, now you say, and you're not just say any president. In any event, even if you allow Proxy, there will still be people who will be disenfranchised. Opa, for Proxy could be a baby, your uncle force almost higher than the Emetraba. So that is why we call it a balancing act. At the end of the day, you compare between the impact of the proxy, and also not using the proxy on the integrity of the elections. This is not my words. The Presidential Election Committee is saying, say proxy ni ba, inipa no bebre say edin semone. Then and aspirants kwa kushia or a friend say Presidential Election Committee in the party in form. Interestingly, four of them who are against in principle, and they will state it clearly, they are against the proxy, and they will stand with the Presidential Election Committee. Then Baako camp there, Dr. Baumia camp there, Chenchina proxy. Didn't kwani.
About a lawyer, Mamu New Patriotic Party, according to the New York Times in 2016, adjudged one of the greatest political parties in the history of Africa. Now, Maakye amendments, will go on. Moko and muhu say and normal way say techma and my party ne konachi isi yenyi fru ho yenye ni se ni adia adenti na munim se 2023 no moko akoto aba no na prosi no ekreti problem de mam na hono ma amende say yi prosi de afrim but so far as a prosi ni wo mu ni de wontimi nka nkyira me say e ma me ma to aba me prosi na ese me ye no ese so we di frim onum say wo mo ye sa de no a ase de mu sem after what Saka said, the number na and war abrochino and yes significant is 800. Even it is a 3 crown, they still have the right to vote. So what I'm saying is that the committee the election committee I didn't know man factors are no more we say it will create a problem for us in the future. 81 year choir amendment as yes I did the free ho. And as a beginning time and comfort forms in the normally regulations ne guidelines say ban. Ada no man ni kan san fan to dwan sam obi ante no hwase na ba be ya bedru na be ka kire me a se me produce se bia me da hospital me delegate to obi so onkoto ma behalf no be ka kire me se me ni kwan se me to sade wo se ye sade no a eno so na ma party no yawdie ni sa no ma ne be akwasi.
I think a lot of people, including you, the media people, you are also not helping with education. First of all, that's why I came with that preamble. Say proxy is not stated anywhere in our constitution. There is nothing like proxy. Proxy comes as a way of guidelines.
And the LPP constitution, okay.
The BBA nimsa. Until before cat say proxy. Omo ma yehu nisa say your constitutional right to be no BJ from himself.
Oh, I see.
If you through BBA through BSM. Proxy ne a creature of a guideline. As a guideline, per the constitutional provisions, the National Council in consultation with NEC, and a Bejatum. But remember, I said a National Council NEC mate sa Presidential Election Committee. So it's the Presidential Election Committee that is our guideline here the EBA. Into every election beyond the guideline here the EBA. Into last election, guideline now on which I say the proxy the bed the better. This election will be the same for proxy near the entro. Into where people should stop creating the impressions, I say proxy be of constitution and will be here the every home. Election beyond the guideline. And we elections are every time be society the eba. We make us election we be a part of election guidelines normally are there and the map say top bottom up they are almost stated in the constitution. Well proxy once last election. Yeah, Canada Japan come when we did our independent coalition. Canada Japan votes about 7% and your father card Dr. Baumia. Dr. Baumia couldn't cross 55%. Dr. Baumia votes. Say we can't coalition say election, you call something election injustice. Now you call North for instance. The number of constituencies in Nipa about one more day. Pictures and videos of about Motuma Canada Japan, but those places they recorded 0. In the old places are even places in the north from Canada Japan be a 92 votes, be a man 0, we a man say. Those background coalition when we did na can votes almost 7%. Dr. Baumia will know say last election if the people had noticed we're up to 55% and they can defeat it quite a bit dangerous.
Wadama yam one common kakra baby is very serious allegation. So
yes.
how did you determine say vote now work 7%? Na 7% is go then na who say Dr. Baumia de na de kwa mi wa adenu mo contest a free akoto contest any idea then na who say Dr. Baumia de na de kan omo ye ne say
you are a smart journalist, and that is a very valid question. First of all, the figures are polling agents. What I say, and we'll have to juxtapose those figures with figures as well. You will a part in the year the editor. And I'm saying, say figures are record do you be as a high say. If you critically good, as not making, I mean, on the face value, no. When say one more be deny, but deep within them, no. Any serious political strategies be planning more be and they'll be using 54% figure, no more than 55%. But for the purpose of public education, let me stick to your point. We did our own internal coalition and we realized that Ken never had the 37% normally at the amount. Ken had 37 plus 7%, which is Ken had about 44%. But that is not the thrust of my argument. The thrust of my argument is that based on electoral injustice, intentional clerical for instance, errors, and almost said that the creative system now a disadvantage Ken. Now say then nipa be contest any farmer yen fan kwasha den money de kwasha Dr. Baumia. The reason why ain't been fan sha den money o mama can say o mama can obi ho nya even up to 7%. Nti me 7% yera no mo can obi nya 7% e call obi for here de e ho.
The correct. It say BBC ne ba ayen fa so bon koma Dr. Srebu Kwakunum no a o mo hwe me ye to aba no cheche se o person o kire se wo mo na yes engineering na o mo na yes
I am not so sure the last election or more than my easy. This one almost somebody come my easy. I don't have the full briefing on that yet, but I doubt the last election or more than my easy.
Okay, and so I'm hoping for education. Easy, and at that particular time, no, the election committee almost so the 2023 no. What show na yes reggae no meboa.
I'm not interested in the blaming game. I'm interested in raising the issue up. Say Ken's votes of about 7% could do Dr. Baumia. And all of this were done through this proxy once a year. Sebio and Okona be a nipa me no kwa. Ebua Musa said DNS, Busa said now and then a then Savus no could ho. All was some of this through this proxy scheme. Now was from Pong to be about 40 me call you were up uku boxing in bed 30 times, 40 times back for. Oh, other year say nipa 40 the proposal amount. Now chunk of us to come you. There are things that say into me Emeka a party in Kabumoni at the NTR. But the point is that the proxy was used as a compromising tool. Proxy no say abuche for na mokwa. When I said they are insignificant, no, the context should be said properly. Not just be a vote here and some vote for so. But I'm saying say if we are looking at Aboche for in our crown, one more 800 people, right? And then 800 in any event, you're to the Dr. Baumia. To be very honest, you're to Aboche voter. Ubi o tia Aboche bia well exposed a papa bia te a memoir sepia who the say a cost of Aboche bia will not come and vote for Dr. Baumia. He will come and vote for Kennedy Japon. Because Aboche for a pragmatic, Aboche for a very resource oriented. Into the whole credit is so. And the point is not about voting for votes, no. The point is about BMA. Proxy will mean proxy for everybody. Your organ for you need publish them at talk about 40,000 votes before I send the best at top. And that will compromise the integrity of the election. Nanano conference about chief for ama. Conference or stadium about chief for Munumuna ama. Omunina Aboche for a mobile when say woman proxy so you still get people that will not vote for from Aboche. Aboche for basic a year party a year mama. Party is say na Aboche for Emma. So Aboche for so muntimi say if we are been able to use millions of cedis or dollars to run election. Sanya party in the one there as far as Linkamum Aboche for 800 no so no plane ticket $1 million. It's a book council now on Brazil council aspirants no obi afa kakra kakra man enko form mra enko for replace wo intro mo take it momo na mo to no mo fa de enko but to say ye be use proxy be compromise there and no there can ya phone come ye nyandre
kwasi mo why dear pa na ma men ka sem we sim fanchro krawo ho saa wate mo amudi honorable Canada dia po achi no wo ne lawyer Sebe me hunu se mo aka sem bia mama na no me kote nkomo bi na efrin mo ada camp enye mo opposing camp no na omo bo ma baso pa wo ne lawyer Sebe particular se mo nya nkofo a mo ka sem twitwie akuti abohunu ni atemdidie adachi betimi akoka fa problem dia mamo ena mo so amo handle Canada Japan no se ma handle ni yie pa mo why ade ma mo abaso ho why
that's it
why ade pa de koso na ye ni sa ma
me tua menua ayi na nanso wo studio ho doctor Dr. Dubois he me tia no
yo wa hasi
kaja sa no pe wo kwa ongo so no kakra o hene de
na kasa oti
me Josu kwesi me Josu pa
oso ajoso hey asemi me ade ya hwe ya ebese kwasi ya dase why ya dase okokra dada na ade ya hwe ya be kwa kofa ebese gu NPP bi maka okay sabrede menemo kasei Ora Godwin Mahama public affairs officer the Matama Oil Refinery National Democratic Congress communication team okahubi wabaha ena kwaku Dubois member of New Patriotic Party so ababe can send the shortest time no nkomo na no bribo di efa Justice Tokono ene Justice Rimsai no ho sensem ECOWAS court no be pensem afei a proxy vote na New Patriotic Party for election committee for say omehwe se emaso no eno so betwetwe ho komo and matters arising kwasa abredi ani imbus for kwakodim komo abatew ba pe ne de komo no ba behihye so
Medofo medewedru sharp herbs biaya ye imboost herbal mixture police ni na dro no enemene wo behwe senti etwa se wo di imboost herbal mixture eye wadro enne pa e wadro ni mu ene niema papa se obinum imboost herbal mixture onya medofo se ka imboost herbal mixture se de wate dada na eye police ni no edro no edro eye police ni o ye memu heya na nyame nam ne so a ode edro ya bedwa so e wodwa so dada ada a chese yeguso a ye nom a eboa ye ma ni padua no kwamo no enya ahoden na ene ye hwe ne pa ewo imboost herbal mixture mu police ni na draw imboost herbal mixture waye no odi no bna hama enua hini e na odi aye na ahwe adro se de brand ni sitie na e unique kra e danso na nya brand ne keke content na ewo mu no eno nso ye different eyi ne ho apue na eyi ne ho asinchen aka ebedro kaye bia aka ho eno nti se upia bonten na se wokọ herbal shop license chemical shop pharmacy bia mu na okope ebibidro mapa ebetimi aboa mu atimi ako edi onyare wanyina so nkunimu a menhwe dro bia se imboost herbal mixture police ni no edro no sei enetie mepacha won saka bia kapo ketua bi hyeso ubie so na wo hyekini wi akapo ketua na hyeso no obenum 2 anopa ansa na wadidi awiaso wadidi awie obenum 2 enwumre a wokọ akoda no wanum 2 edro yura wo ni padua mu a eba beboa nkwamu a ewo ni padua no mekire immune system no na enya ahoden mapa na atimi aboa wo ni padua no na dwuma so a nyankopon nyansa ne ni nipa yomu obo nkwamu ane de mani padua ne se enima no se adwuma so no enkwamo na atimi edi amani padua no edroi ye di nubrane hahama na aye na nubrane hahama na natural spices aye aye no ekra properties bebre ekra phytochemical compounds bebre a eboa ni padua no apomden ma ne timi ekonanim properties ameka ho asemu ebi ne saponis ebi ye tannis afensu ebi ye flavonoids ebi ye carotenoids ena alkaloids ne de keka ho bebre a mintumi ye brani timi fa ne nyina entudwa na nam se ebrani sa na dodo akonya ba akofo ntena so nchenti ena me no be ka mienu ho asem ye fa saponis eye property a ewo imboostable mixture mu a obi a wodi police ni na dro imboostable mixture ne be ye na edro no saponis na ewo mu nti fat entimi enya nika ewo ni paduanim me kire srade eno nti se wutie me ne na se woni paduanim ayedu emboro so wanka ankasa wonante a obre wonante a ase wo te so wotumu se nipadua no emu ayedu wa ye kese mroso a imbustable mixture na ye kanfo de ama wo sa saponis na ewo mu no sa woto imbust no na wo sheki na wa se bibi ba ni bubbles bi ba ni mu se ehoro bi saa no aha eno ena ekọ wo shifati ni nyina efri nipadua nim e de ama wo eno ewia na nwiyeye afe kohye aboa na wo sugar a ekọ nipadua nim enuane a ye di starchy foods a ye di and end product e sugar anase glucose no ekoboa anormalize sugar level no e de ama wo me kire se esi kire a aboroso wo nipadua nim no e betena kofom kra wa wo de aboroso na wa wo de aboroso so a control no asiesie no de ama se de be ya emoroso nkofa ohaw ana oye ne bi enfamre wo afe ewia hye se cholesterol aboroso wo nipadua mu aya ss no e bete so e de ama wo me dofo enye no nkwana so ye brain ti ye nko tannis enso so yi tannis so ye property bi a ewo nipa ewo imbust mu a se wura nipadua ni mu a ekoye osi akwan ama bacteria virus germs infections a omu wura ni ye nipadua mu a omu kwasesa yare ahodo de brain no eno na tannis na ewo imbustable mr mu no ekohye na aye osi akwan aseti barriers ama wo se de be ya wo pia bonten na se wo de onsa so ne ma bi mu ana wudi nuane bi na se kwa kofa ohaw bi ana wo ye ne bi e de abrewa tannis na ewo imbust mu no ebe ya osi akwan amasa ne omani nyinam afa tannis ninti wonum imbustable mr ye police ni na duro no oni akomayade eni twaka kra chese akomayade entumi emben wo heart attack bia entumi emben wo eboa siesie akoma no mani tumi ye atwuma ye afen so ehye ema moje wo nipadua ni mu no etimi di afusane ye ebi ana wutie me na kakra bia wo na etitiriti onsa etitiriti moja ni ntumi di afusane ye amo akoma bo periperi ama pressure no kra ekosoro dodo ana ati abafom sese hypertension no abasa ne wo betena enu ti doctor amo waduro se no moduro no nefa control no me pacho imbustable mixture wo betimi anoma ka ho ebesiesie wo nipadua no na control ne di ama wo nipa bebre na anom imbustable mixture no pressure no ewo soro pa nanso nei odi adanse se eduro no aboa no afen so ebi ana wutie me na cancer kra na etete wo me ka carotenoid ho asem eno so boa wo na ewo cancer eno ti se wo nom imbustable mixture hunu se sa carotenoid na ewo mu nti no ma cancer emba wo nipadua nim enye no nko me dafo a wutie me se ye fa imbust ho bonus sa na se mfa so dia yenya ewo nipadua nim a edoso obi o hono se me didi wi ana me bo ehyehye me ana se aduane to me yema me ntumi kra imbustable mixture ni be siesie di amount imbust ne de enka wose abusua bia enya bisi ne fie bra yare achi mpofiri mu so na wo be ko hospital ana yare achi hu kani ana se wodofo bi na wo pese wo de ne ko hospital no wo de wo imbust ne bia fa ne bie so ne di kan ma ne binom ansakra na modru hospital ho se imbust serve as first aid e de ama wo abusua na de biara da otumu se yare ene motonkwanta amapai yare nta memu imbustable mr boy general body pains free ni padua mu me kire police ni na drone an obi mu bisa se adai edrone eye painkiller na wonnom a eyi yawo nyina se ye adwumaden na woye se ye fom dwuma e na woye se woye mesi ni woye driver ni woye gya ho adwuma woye oba wo market kodi dwa wo honom obeba na honam nyina ya wo ya edro imbustable mr na ebeboa wo na menua ba eboa wa yi yawo no na menstrual pains any menstrual disorders so wo di ni sunkunim eno nti wo baby or menstrual pains or menstrual disorders ya kanfo police ni na dro imbustable mr no enadi amano afen so ebeboa asiesie wo maaye mu no se bia infection bi ehinta wo baby candidiasis mi kire odepoa ehinta wo baby a ebesiesie nu anase nsuo biara enya nika nanso eba efri wo nipadua ni mu ba ekofo how edebre wo no imbust ne beboa eyi ni nyina afri ho be ma wo hwe me imbustable mr ebeboa ama mensem so akonanim a wo how bia eni akire se wo to imbustable mr se wo no mo amedofo eye du papa ebeboa wo na o how bia nim sanse yankasa na edua ye nubena no ukọ ti regional hahama ne nubena no ya gi asase yantam wo ho eni afa akuafo aguso ye ne o makasa se momo fa chemical bia nka asase no ne mpo akọpa se eduro no enu nti ye ndro beba ye de befa mfidie mu a ye behwehwe mu no na kyese bibia eye kroje na eduro ne be agya so enam se ye papa nti adanse bebre na ewo ho
eduro ne ye papa asa me ko pedwe me 20. Me menses enye
Sir.
Me body ne enye
Okay.
But me told you no me kunu so ma me do bia me no no. Me bia me sorry me put to dream. Me new system so I come me menses so I come.
Ba so me net no. Bo so so na menses na say ba no ma be even 5 days no. Na be 3 days pe na atwa. Be ma nye do mbi ko na no so kra no mbi no. E ma kwa na we ba be 5 days no mind me say do no mum de no kra ni. E de nyame asase nyankopon ayadom na edu ba tanse bi pe kro man we mu na e boa fofofo na yenye mu anwodi.
Nya accident ekoda Trafalgar almost 3 months me na ibubuye e ma da de shimu. Enti na pensa na wo ho a meti no police ni aduru no motobre me amenom ye no. First one no de na menti pensi no biem. The second one at times going no amenom police ni aduru na wo me nan no. Na ma wo se me nan na fe de me hu sa kira bi online no. Nso ta nan mu ye. Omo me presi we nso ta nan mu. Enti me no police ni aduru na fe ma wo se nan no asase ye de etwe. Enti aduru no de eye me manum bi ana se oba bi ye wo ya ho na me ya ho no de me de no na esa me yare ma me. Edi se ka ye camera kra metimi ayi ba bi amenya accident no e de a kire tiefo no mo so ahwe no mo de aduru no adanse a kire mansan
adanse atwa agu nyina eye imbustable Mr. Police ni na dro e ho adanse enko no wote ho ye dai tutumri kasesi a na ru herbal shop license chemical shop na kope imbustable Mr. na nom na wonom a afe apomudin abusuakuo imbust no wa beka ho wo beka apomudin abusuakuo no ho a de biara da utimu se unipadua no enya apomde mapa oni yade atonkwanta mapai ye numbers na gu screen so no frey asem a kire wadwen no brane ne ye meka ho asem ana se frey na bisa ye kope imbust tonom na beboa atufo beko herbal shops akese a etwa Ghana Heshia enkran okanshi drug lane ebi ewo honom Kumasi ene central region Koforidua eastern region munyina northern region bebia imbust no yato apeti enti kope bi tonom ebeboa wo pa imbustable Mr. Die eye apomde mapa ena apomde mapa so eye imbustable Mr. enam se police ni na ye yenti obetumi aka se opo sini na dro no meda wase.
This is 90.
All right, here that input for pa say omaba betre kwan the shortest time no yene lawyer Edward G Tamaklu chief executive officer Edema NPA ono aso na the director of legal affairs Edema National Democratic Congress enche ye de beba homa no so ni yaji enchiremu bi ho na sabre ma men kan kire we say wo pe se wo ton no ma tie yi wo store wo pe se ebume o pe baby a ewo kwa ho ewo kromu pa wo hwe human traffic count ni pe twam ho no edoso a de bia de a wo ton anasa de a wo bo ho dahuro no ebetimi akoso ama nipa etimi ato a enya ma men kanfo office bi emfama me kwa homa no so aba me ko ba pe na ma ba be kire baby a wo be je officer ye betimi ato no ma pa e de ama wo se medical promise we say yene lawyer Edward G Tamaklu director of legal affairs at the National Democratic Congress and chief executive officer at the NPA lawyer memwachi
I think that this is your first interview
sir that be lawyer when I talk to me
sir thank you but let me say this quickly. I have followed you consistently without you knowing.
Wow.
No, I have followed you consistently. I mean consistently as a panelist and now as a host. And let me say this. You don't fear anybody. You say it as it is. And one remarkable thing I like is you try to stick to the data, even when you have your own personal views. And I think it's admirable.
I
think it's admirable. I've monitored you for a long time.
I see. Ola be da se pa. Na misha na afenso so no ba bi so na enkoyi a. Na mo aso so maka o kan so aka no from mu say ya na me fantumi ho for why Mr. Wa
Yes, I'll tell you this, and I always tell my directors anytime I have a meeting with them in the office. You see, I use this scenario. I tell them that, you see, God in his infinite wisdom believes that a man can see with one eye. But if you close one eye, you can see very well with the other eye. So God could have just given us one eye in front, one behind, so that you can have a complete view, almost 360-degree view about yourself, no blind spots.
Yes.
But so we'll demonstrate that we are dependent on each other. Or the so that you always depend on somebody to tell you what's happening behind you. And so I always say that, you see, you are the director, you are my black eye.
Wow.
You are supposed to see my back and tell me, hey, Chief Executive, Adia Wuyi, Adia Assembly Bachelor, me yenisa, yenise. I am much the same way, Ejuma Wuyi, no. At the end of the day, we are supposed to do a peer review of what you are doing. So far, I don't have anything to say, except to say that just keep on with the standards.
Right.
The mistake a lot of the time we make is that, you see, journalism is not like being a judge.
Okay.
Journalism, you can have a very strong opinion, but that opinion should be fair and balanced. You know, if you have the constitutional chapter on the press and the media, doesn't use impartial, it says fair and balanced. So even when you have your own opinion, at least let the other person air his. Let your listeners do the rest. And that is why every media in the world is subject to editorial. The editorial is the paper's position, is the media outlet's position on the matter. Okay. So I personally want to thank you.
Yeah, me so me da se pa nyamishira o se mususa mo hwe mo hwe efri akiri eti de bia yeso so say ss ye di ehuni
I share your programs. You have no idea.
Thank you very much. Now lawyer yan shade o ya mame get retoko no ne hu nsemi na wode akoda ne ECOWAS enra ye ba bonti from ECOWAS for ho ebisi mami yato na sam na gu ebisi ntesa ne ade ne lawyer UK otu mranim ni mapan nim no West Africa ha wache sa asam ne de yentumu yikura lawyer kiremu yi ehne ne yato agu na ehne ne yentumu ye
before I back also but see yen small history and then the NDC director leader just for public education.
Okay.
It is the judiciary has always been the work played by kings. Ahimfo in the Boateng. Ahimfo in the Boateng. It is and then ewo akamamo. Otu for the Boateng. He sits in council. Oh yeah, osimiku hu abrewaba. No abema ne verdict. Ena sebu Europeans are omoba. Omutna wa no mso da bi o. Kin nko aye sanyoma we ono aye legislation. Ono a be decide, ono a be sa enforce. No mo hwe anom so da bi. Yemfa bibi into hwe Montesquieu omo writings. Thomas Hobbes, Omontroye, the Leviathan, Omushe Anom Sedabi. Yebe no Sadia, Yen separate powers no, Ubin Boateng, Ubin Chombrano, na Ubi Enso Enforce Embrano. 3. But se question nipa ba kumua sometimes when we are now abusing the powers. I didn't see I may bring this issue up and say, you see, And maybe by Kulungugu bombing. Sorry.
Metida, yeah.
And there was this attempted assassination of then President Nkrumah.
Yeah.
So the persons who were arrested included honorable some friends in the CPP, Terry Adamafio and co. Omoko trial, they were acquitted. They were acquitted. Omo acquitted, Omo Nkrumah was not pleased. So he handled those charges in a manner that obviously showed his anger and displeasure. It is Emra Yedi 1992 Constitution, in fact, starting from 79 Constitution, in the year say, Sir Ajajufo Betmiayo Omujuma without fear, without favor, no. Yemo the friend the security of tenor. The show security of tenor. Sir Judge no or man penny ain't me judge no because judgment now I know on pay. It was 79 Constitution the by it had express provision to protect judges. In a 1992 Constitution no by in a mukena. It was 1992 Constitution no introduce Article 146. And the reason for that Article 146 provision in say, "Want me say Judge Ayejuma pay the outcome as a man derby." The Constitution provide all kinds of mechanisms, internal mechanisms to ensure say protection of our judges a very strong. Mami power again call your money in 1979, the new president, Okay Liman Abai. So Liman Abai no, Ebenya 79 Constitution no. It created our Constitution no. For the first time, Constitution created a new Supreme Court because prior to that, no court now and they at the Court of Appeal. They and they at the Court of Appeal. In the 79 Constitution, it created this new Supreme Court. Not Chief Justice, I know at that time, you need a friend of Chief Justice Apalu. Apalu. Now, Abakosan Kakane said, Emra Chief Justice Apalu fee a brutre a buyer as lawyer. Obeye Juma or law firm be a war, Kojo Thompson Road. Kwankwan Guam. But what is our law firm leading that?
The Menteda.
And they a friend of Kufado and Prempe.
Oh, I see.
Nana do ni papa law firm.
Baby, at the Braka police station inside on.
Perfect. Kwankwan Guam. It is Chief Justice Apalu Baye on your bed as someone money and a goose firm hono. Now, what happened? And they say, obey judge and Nkrumah Breso. Inti Emra year 2 in Nkrumah Bre 24 February 1966. No, the new military regime no set up commissions of inquiry to investigate Nkrumah's appointees. One of the commissions, not Apalu Nedano, Justice Anid Diageno and Aneda Dano. But what I say? Yeah. Good. Fast forward, you ban CPP as a political party. So, okay. Good. Into the Ecobai and say at a point, no, now Liman Mobile no more create the new Supreme Court, no. Now, say by the reason of the Constitution, now as I say, the then head of the Court of Appeal and next one the head of the new Supreme Court, and you know, so Constitution can say, obey Chief Justice of the Supreme Court or the head of the judiciary now. I just say over Parliament for parliamentary vetting. Parliamentary vetting, say over Parliament. Now get something. The people who formed the majority in Parliament at that time, CPP for now, Apalu, Etna, or cases no so as commissions of inquiry. Inti, see a classic of parliament for parliamentary veteran said the outcome is almost known.
Yeah, so.
So that the outcome is almost known. A clever way to clear you off. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Inti, Chief Justice Apaluya Najin Sobeko for parliamentary vetting. In a branch ABIFNO, Dr. Amwakutufo. That time, no, a young lecturer at KNUS.
I see.
In a old issue rich. Challenging say, now so he's already the head of the judiciary. Just that at that time, the judiciary ended at the Court of Appeal.
Yeah.
Now they say, Smart Supreme Court, let him just continue. Where from this issue of parliamentary vetting? Now, Omehu game, no. Quick. It's almost a tea up a panel. Soa, Acha, Lase, Anenkikahu, and Omotnas. Into hope, no can't say. It's the Attorney General at that time, a preliminary legal objection, said, and I want Mwakutu for Dr. Mwakutu for Gra, we are mine. Sebi, we are lecturer. Sashing we are found obeying. When you pan out, some no fan of why Chief Justice Apollo. Omekashi, he is willing to go to Parliament for the vetting. It would be a busybody. Medicine interloper. In a objection, no more raise it to locus. And now, the court then says, I'm a good for doctor. May he so rest in peace. Sebio. He is a person who has a community of interest with the Constitution itself to protect the Constitution. In the Juma is to protect the Constitution. And every citizen of the country is enjoined to protect the Constitution. Almost dismiss the preliminary objection. And eventually Omuruli said there was no need for that parliamentary vetting. He should continue in that office. I didn't hear Adrian said there has always been an attempt to remove Chief Justices of this Republic.
I see.
There has always been an attempt. Two, Emraje Rollins, president, or Chief Justice be a friend of Abba.
Yeah, Justice Aban, yeah.
Justice Aban, correct. Not Justice Aban, or Nick Ghana Bar Association for Montokwa and Ye Easy. In the Ghana Bar Association for who you are, there were evidence Papa said you on your fit to be the Chief Justice. But yeah, Article 146. When you say based on that to for an Attorney General decision, yeah, 1992 Constitution in the day Article 2, empowering every citizen, just to avoid that objection that happened into for an Attorney General.
I see.
Article 2. So your Constitution always mirrors our checkered history. And in the Article 2 at the Burma, to the extent to say, all you need to prove that you are a citizen, you can defend the Constitution. And there, both able and corporate and persons will be able to make courts. Litigate a matter under Article 2. GBA for who said no, almost Chief Justice Aban. But wouldn't be instead of coming under Article 146, they cleverly decided to issue a writ. And in the writ, almost this guy said the writ by questioning his, qualification, whether or not he's qualified to hold that office. It's assembled by, and Ghana Bar Association were the plaintiffs, They were the plaintiffs. But they were cleverly trying to use the writ so that if the Supreme Court had gone ahead to decide that the man was not fit, effectively they would have then said, if you are not fit by reason of the Supreme Court decision, then you cannot be the Chief Justice of Ghana. Clever. And to quickly, Attorney General no Martinami, no, a deputy to Obeda someone, say, we can see the mischief here. You want to use the back door to circumvent Article 146, but you get the same outcome. Soldiers here.
Yeah.
You see, you want to get the man removed. Action.
It's like you want to go to heaven, but you so be.
Fantastic. One Supreme Court judge for say no, we can see the mischief inherent. Mamu using the back door. In a dismiss. So Justice Bega, Justice Ajaben and Co. And look, you should read that judgment. I think it should be in the 1994, 1995 Ghana law report.
All right.
In the discipline. I didn't tell me about this history. Why you need to follow a certain pattern. Omanpeni Kufobeye Mampeni, Chief Justice BIFN, Chief Justice Aqua.
Oh yeah, Justice Aqua, yeah.
Justice Aqua.
Chief
Justice Aqua. Yes, Justice Aqua so Wana. Papa BIFN of Brighter Equity.
I know Brighter Equity had to folk, yeah.
CPP Brighter Equity. In an order petition called Mampeni Kufo. So Omanpeni Chief Justice are waiting in one number. ABCD. It may perceive under Article 146. Yet again, issue no buy no. In a branch ABFN of Franca J. Chum, a issue rate at the Supreme Court. Challenging say, now petition now brought a quit the Abacra say Chief Justice Aquano. Now who petition on the front page of the Empire newspaper and the rest. Meanwhile, the Constitution says the proceedings shall be held in camera. And the proceedings include the petition. It is what the petition now for 2 newspaper front page, you have breached the constitutional in camera provision. That's confidentiality. And the court once again intervene and scatter that.
Not just say, lawyer. President Saudi Mayani na no chain say, yes, Nyangwa, Meboa.
And yet the court has always intervened to protect the Chief Justice.
Justice, okay, all right. Yeah, time in Intino. And come up person can you bet to us so far, but
main cause so way just on this matter. It was in a specific case of Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono. I think that there is a critical question we are not asking. How come that in all these matters, the judiciary has always intervened? How come that this one it didn't happen? So, more importantly, Ocean matters now on how they are dom Ghana courts. How ODB Ediako ECOWAS courts now. Sebi. And now you wanna say no pa. ECOWAS courts no. I can say Sebi. Preliminary we now no open no. Interim measures now no open no. To stop the process from happening. The ECOWAS court no can say per her own conduct, they cannot proceed with those interim measures. Those are interim measures. What it means is that the substantive matter will still be there. So that distinction can be drawn. I said the FN injunction application. The substantive matter will be there, but per se, before the substantive matter is heard, there should be some interim measures. Ghana FN injunction. That injunction application now said the tribunal dismiss it and run.
I see.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's a fantastic. Yeah, Brennan, my mama a minute now. You find 2 years and 5 Make I say now beba as a NPA boss no. Now we can say you make sure say fuel prices beba from near there. If say you buy a new bear say 2 months then we say fuel prices are back for mama and you take care si kaso near there. You na ya tiase. na wo ka bibi say wo pese petroleum downstream whatever bi ka brofo hu bi na wo pese ye de fra 24-hour economy na me ye adwuma o NPA de 24-hour economy e fa me ho bai.
Look, President John Dramani Mahama, one of the pillars of the 2024 campaign, the 24-hour economy project. In the who said, the petroleum downstream, almost all the activities in that petroleum downstream, a bit me in the 24 hours. Remember a classic example. Currently, Tema, you are the FN jetty into the big ships no banner almost the fango and the bar. Sebu, ye juma about 5 p.m. and Yapon. I just said the next day. And the reasons are not far-fetched. Because Sebu, what they pump at the two ship are evacuating petroleum products. If a ship no more their kugu tank more. So bet me na najo. It's a low hanging fruit a bet me aye. It's an agreement no nanko for age or jet you on they can still work. Two. Yes, I say Serbia fuel or more security. They should be able to work throughout the day. Throughout the day. They don't need to close. When I met the industry people, I met the oil marketing companies and others. Almost can be beaten. But I can say within a year or have it 6 robbery cases. 6 robbery cases.
I see.
Once he has adequate security, nothing stops him or her from working throughout the night. Into yes, no. Visionary President John Dramani Mahama ewono. Eyadea yebetimi ayeno ewo petroleum downstream ono. In short, that's basically where the conversation is going.
I see. And congratulations. Na masha see me boa. And amunya sha say.
Oh yeah pilot program B. The president started from Osu, Cantonment and others. Okay. Then based on that we'll start the nationwide rollout. Let me quickly comment on petrol price rate. I personally want to thank the Governor of Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Esiama, the Honorable Finance Minister, the Honorable Dr. Keselato Forsen, and Amiaminia Minyonkopa Sami Jemfi of the Gold Board. The combined work of these 3 individuals, I ensure say the currency, and the stability, at least it has ensured some level of predictability and low numbers. That significant strength now, has impacted because there are 2 major things that are impacted on the price of petroleum products: the FOB price and the exchange rate. So the wire mathematics. I also hear regression analysis. The variables in the determine into variable now it will be quickly the issue of FOB and the issue of exchange rate. And so once we have the exchange rate table, we are sure that we will have and let me say the combined work of these 3 individuals has greatly helped us in keeping the fuel numbers low.
Lawyer, thank you very much. Nyankopon ka ho pa Godwin Mahama wa house watch out pa.
Oh, minya pa me dana say, and I wish him all the best. Thank you.
All right, yes, that's it.
Thank you.
All right. We Godwin Edowaji Tamaklu, Director of Legal Affairs, Edema National Democratic Congress, and Chief Executive Officer, Edema NPA. Sabri, a brass one say, Yadim Commander Besha, so na me catch will say, O Pestor Daya, a walk qua hopa, deeper traffic count, a dorsua, Bibia Utobia, ye better, a dear ye biani, ye bay, Muamushe TV, no, and Muamushe Facebook, and all machino, also Osha traffic, a chronic Cassie Chemua. A very vibrant and enterprise. I just be best to Hobiano, ye better and Tisa. Oh, yeah. No affair number way 0244 900 449 0244 900 449 and I 05020 511 0001 020-511-0001. And no, you were Asada Twin Towers and Sana Maker, you were adjacent the Telesur building, Oba Tiptoe Lane Junction as well. Uru Telesur building, Udu and Yatre car price na sense a woman in Sawamno, on Sabon Kusubon say, Abronsaka sie, Munu ebi esi hormwa, and Harry A Blue, and Sanate Sabri, Mewo Ura Gordon Mahama, a public affairs officer, Edema Tema Oil Refinery, and of course, National Democratic Congress Communication team member, and a Kwaku Dubois Nana, and so a member NPP Abuja from Makwaba. Yes, you better quote the Chief Justice Diano Hoba quickly and 2 ways in photo. Muna Namo Hana Nami interview. Rakwasi Quatinifa New Patriotic Party for or more prosy vote ya aba once my bar. Ayubujay. The election committee, Edia Tuja said Nadia prisoner betimi abaso on the 31st January. Ni normal ama site no ma bebrebe this adian eba. Aspirant so we are told is nipa 5 in the contest no. Emu 4 adia tumba nipa bayi bako de emi se also onyin tu but no nkyere se enkyere bibia. Prosy votes aba mamesha semfi na now wo na ye New Patriotic Party ni kache ye. Ede na beba ma ade a ya ye ne last year afi o betimi aka se ye nyim fanfio.
Medasi Ziega anopawe ma menchia minia mama Godwin o ha adwen so men de minia bako na menchia yetiefo ne ahwefo anopai na memfa nchia kese emuedru so ma onombo akompre kwa Japan ne obeba Accra briefly and run yewo ofuanse ayiribi new ebrim ne nkoko na yedi kowie o akemda ene no obetua ne dwumadie so wo New Japan North and South I bibi okufodua na we break kakra next week yasan started with the Western Regional Tour and the MPP for Monshene anymore the message of hope eba na yakamwasam my member question I will the issue with the proxy minu kwesi about modern answer obechechiremu the reason why committee aliabase this time around yeah proxy some sure election must be done on a fair grounds. Say abatu bia okomwa wonuma eranuma numua wo yi won ho asi ho wo pray say obedi MPP enimu no obia esefata na say ade ye anti empanyimfo media na mean support the idea say beto presidential elections and Sunday akoye constituency polling stations and then regional elections. The bottom up approach na ya use and na nke ye need that so na emum no mpanyin for the bar say because of the cracks within the party ye say after presidential primaries ye betimi united the rank and file of the party entina ye nkoto abai kane we are etimi achichire party around whoever wins, which we know say Ira Kene Japan will emerge as the victorious person after the elections. Now umu adebaya ye hwe nyina no ne ye hwe say then ye beya empapa mu watimi wakame I see last time ensign mabiu last election you say because it's an more upper hand inti omu use sa proxy at the normal baby there were so many under handling effects the proxy ni ye back MPP for bikra na waka baby awum delegates for proxy kwan so e man krofo koto abama 2 ye said na kwasi ka no ebitimi a company pa base 100 200 our constituency bi mu na ese mo sign proxy we say mo de mo ni ho nti mo de ahye onipa we hinsa se onkoto proxy no na ya chinchim microphone sa wa anya me you afri abon mu wa anya na je say next election bia no ya ma won to be na threats ebe mu nti ye hwesa no ma na ekokọ so no a say going forward ye pese ye no ma yi na ma enoma esisi ni kwan so a ene ye ma sa opportunity no ma obi enko kampon krofo emmom nko sensan krata say yen to aba ndi ye the proxy na ma obi enti wonko to mayen ena nana se proxy no me le sha won sana ma krata ase koto aba especially one more wa brochi na was want to one ase no then kire se me kwakwadu boya metie me the proxy ama Godwin se Godwin mama koto aba ma oni pass mesi then kire se okwa ono koto aba ma no a very big question I say was ebiana me fele say Ziega ene nye obi obedi ye party nanim me ni ho me de ama ma se koto aba okoye no akoto ama kodwo preko say kodwo na one ebo what I say. So there are so many attendant issues when it comes to this proxy issue. I can't want to me and said I say you want to disenfranchise us, you don't want us to vote and all that. Say we a party ni election a process. You can't see about on the 31st of January, no, and yenra. It's been a process. Ya want to kwa council meeting sa and sana you say 31st January and you better one. Enti so US na say about one ehun hian pa me su say sabre ne de enka wo betimi ayo no ma wo hye yi ebeduru sabre no waje say 1 week leave bi and say 3 days leave bi no aba betena Ghana ha abeto aba wo wi a ukọ baby. One more external branches, no, like Kwesi said, no, we are speaking about 800 people. What I say, and 800 people, no, yes, it's quite a number, but we so interested enuntino, yehu say bibi betimi atochim ewo sa proxy ne si introduce and chinchina see akofaba na binu capitalize on it and the perpetuity electoral vices. And no the party no the guidelines are the buy with respect to the presidential elections. E wo mu say we in proxy sembia. And today ya started one more mobile filing nomination file ya converting a balloting. Say crap people's ballot we cry a print area office everywhere and na obi say chinchina say ye the proxy ba awa bra enipa num ni nyina no ye ka kire mu ama mu nyina mate ase e ba ne na ban konkon de wakɔhye ebinum achi hye omukutu pa se omu meka sa asem we
na ne mamusu asem proxy won say more defend the reason why I look as a president back understood. It will be our the views I was arguing. Ba mo kan na mo say ba ko no atwam. Ne kwasi kwate kasa was say 7% vote to be an candidate Japan nya no. Ye de kokko kan Dr. Mamudu Bawumia de ho. Fair enough. Mo san susu aka say obi wo hokwa na 7 predua so ko na krechi. Na yakwase auto proxy near the aquacoca ubidio. Udia did not mention ubiedin. Na dear Moken Musa Moyesa na electoral commissioner noa what na what you or conduct election na mobile kwedu. And no sad antia Ura Aaron Michael Quay and one year election committee chairman and a mobile kwedu. Say a basa noa
are you not taking something out of this empenyufo ya call masebi na so obi betimi awia 7% voter e kwa ben e fa so e buy e saade ni timi buy ka betimi a chechi mu kakra ka be me den
na yes what you say na say elections are won at the polling station. Michael Quay, Professor Michael Quay, I know your elections committee chairman or Tenkran. A report be free the various constituencies about and origin waging so they are in a declaration. 2, electoral commission na Serbu Kumu and no share about one so no. No so no Tenkran. A ye omu representatives in the various constituencies ena ebeye adwuma no na ye adwuma na se obi asinkete se chinchina ne memepe ena yesa wo ya na to the point say even some of our agents were manhandled and so they had to leave the polling stations mokoto aba no ekope baby tonight enti na chese wo feel the oye de ope ne esa otia se ne say Zibila Kenya Japan 24 votes. Yetro 0 vote emano. Damongo Kenya Japan enya 92 votes. Yetro 0 votes emano. Na electoral commission officer na ohweso no oni ho. Eba na send a declaration form no so no eba na 0 ne yatro so ama Kenya Japan. Ewa abreso onya 92 votes ewo.
So how do you determine that he had 92 votes?
Oh, constituency for nanas and rechi ya call up north. Ena womo ba ya kacha say ye kan ye no. Vote awunya ye nie.
I see.
And Emma even to the point say they came or the evidence actually say a friend is saying Otomaka in Japan. I never want the phone so say I will try I was to say Ottawa ben we no try picture I want the phone so. When you on enipa 14 na sada no o was ibla o mu nyina ba be ka say you try but ni yesuro ni regional executive no e ka say so mbe yi afri album ni mu nti e ma ye twenye hu free ho enti wo sha there's more than enough and incriminating evidence actually say there were rigging all over the place what I say and untina se sia no national presidential election committee na wo no led by Joe Wise say enoma baku mienu ayeye ya ede ama ebinum anya omode no ye pese ye so ano ni ensense bio
Gordon take a bite on this now young Chief Justice.
Yeah, but before I call some so minchia me abema minchia wahwefo no wetifo ni na nyame ya adomo a ende na Ghana Armed Forces recruitment no in Accra ye resume just unfortunate at the time I know mo shase no yet yante asemde
yeah
and we needed to put the process on hold. Nyame ya adomo the same process will begin and Thursday. May I assure all applicants say the ACD is just unfortunate. It was an accident. And abaya utie ne manfo no atoyentem asia utie na wa finding solutions to the problem. So ended the no ya advance protocol and I create additional centers. Nti enye only elwak mpo no there are sessions I be beba elwak will not also be used just for a day. It will take like 5 days. You better check numbers in even po elwak. Aside elwak you check numbers ni mu no. You some be additional 5 centers within Greater Accra region. So don't be member ehun embo say the see yenti no your quest to serve Mother Ghana no you are not going to push it again until next recruitment and shase. Aside and also him say police, fire service and other ones also shase also taking into consideration what happened during the Ghana Armed Forces recruitment. This is an announcement I want to make. 2, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has also said it played loud and clear. So when it comes to issues of LGBT, I'm bringing this issue because some of your sister stations are miscommunicating his point. So we have taken it upon ourselves because LGBT was pivotal prior to the last election. Okay, no problem.
So take your bite. Let
me go on the MPP issue. In a normal sense, I can me party and what's Ankamedi who and common. But as a party in power, no, we don't need a disjointed opposition. Yes, I ever feel say biano and I'm not quite so. Because there is a reason why there must be an opposition. Said you see the old Chasano, Onims and the chair there. So it is expected of a pragmatic and united opposition to do those checks and balances for a government in power. But I just unfortunate. Say young opposition I wish Sanka better opposition swaba so that they can go back to another opposition because they look incompetent, disjointed, ununited. And I said the omuni nano obia esru omo oya asru oya, and that is what is happening. And that is the problem. Because you see, Zigas, the issue is that Zigas, the issue is that for me, every election be a unique. And until every election be no, the Electoral Commission issues election guidelines because a pair. Okay, you use previous guidelines to run subsequent elections. So election be unique and must be treated as such. So the basis that last year you use proxy into a mandatory, and so you use proxy, cannot be the case because last election on their primary is different from this year's election. Two. After every election, it is expected of the election committee to do an evaluation of the election. Evaluation is analysis. Ashe die ko ye ene dia anko ye. Na no abeye a guide. Etomri bimpo a analysis no ebe informing certain amendment to be done in their constitution. Then the next election, the new guidelines can take care of those eventualities in the previous elections. And the election committee of MPP etanasi. No more this year, next year guidelines are back. Now the BBA new say the proxy that they introduced last year, they want the same proxy to take place this year. The actually say, Omatanasi, Ebu Kompon Akwa Machi. Analyzing the previous proxy that they did and they feel it cannot be repeated. And until January election, Oman for proxy and shame. So if guidelines na ba, I don't know why. Because maybe on be guideline biano, and your committee independent na say guideline. That's what you must know. Even though committee in the spearheaded the election, every guideline benefit party penifo, which will include external branches. External branches. Inti mrina no moji adwini. Ekukuregun krata so edia guidelines. Where were they? That after the guideline has been issued, today you are calling for a proxy. I leave that question to them. My last issue on this, and it said, Washana want me. I would suggest to the MPP because I remember when Omo power no Omo catch them so Omo register Ghana form war outside now come to national election ROPA, yes, ROPA. They can introduce ROPA in their internal election where if plain ticket na umbecha aba any problem they can get individuals in the name of election personnel to go and man the international branches are on BBA so long as the internal election is concerned. Omuntina honto aba omuria let's call it there. No mun transmit election no emma the coalition center in Accra. So all the candidates, you are mandated to send an agent to branches on BBA outside Ghana's jurisdiction. You get the point? So be a 10, you take 10 or 20 agents there. Let them go and police the election for you. After that, they count and transmit the result to Ghana. They collate and it is declared. That is my suggestion to them, because for Yandie, it has always been smooth. But I said the American, the problem now is is through.
Mama 7 minutes. Our Chief Justice issue.
On Chief Justice issue. Yeah. But before that, Saturday you be share Kofi Kofi Preko. Kojo Preko ne mama. I can assure him say I'll be there, because the younger brother and so madam for. Oh, the Oyo Juma or Minerals Commission, who is also a lawyer, is very good friend of mine. Yeah, the mom. On Ben Saturday we every botanical gardens. Yes, Saturday. Yes, I will be there. Yeah. Chief Justice issue.
7 minutes.
No problem. Zigas. Chief Justice Tokono only issue. Chief Justice Tokono is wasting everybody's time. And Chief Justice Tokono must come to the realization that she has been caught by the law. Because so far, in the process leading to the removal, any constitutional provision mampeni afum. Nobody has been able to establish that. Because the constitution emma mene wo timemunino say ususu say bibi enkoyi you can petition the president. And that is why Edudi Tamaklo lawyer gave you event other citizens are exercising their citizen right
to remove the chief
to
justice.
Remove previous chief justice. Into Yanyagane ni emane petition on Mampeni. Constitution it say Mampeni se on second kratana. You do what we call together with Council of State. Mobile the efreno determining a prima facie. Prima facie simply means on the surface of petition, mutusu say nipa na yedi ko edu na bon no or answers to questions to answer or not. So omotra se no realize say on the surface of the petition no ehun be hia say there are some questions she needs to do what? Answer. That is prima facie. There is nowhere in the constitution that say you determine prima facie the prima facie that has been determined. There is nothing in the constitution, neither a statute or an any laws of this country. Inti you determine here. Even before committee ni betanase no. Ye Mampeni Emma Justice Tokono the petition, yes or no, to peruse and address herself with the content. Enumponu efi Mampeni akumemu willingly and or the man. He is not mandated. He is not mandated. And a committee in tenase. Committee dia betenasia. Zigas, omu rules and regulation anameboa. And ne o quarter, there are somewhere they will take your phone. Your baby, they will tell you to put your phone on silence. In our law court in Ghana, yeah. In the rules, nature say, "Oba, unfa phone in ra committee room." You best search you. The constitution actually say that hearing must be in camera. In camera means that a committee and a open. Immediately, a third party comes in, it ceases to be in camera. It becomes public hearing, which violates the supreme law of the country, the 1992 Constitution. And these are maybe also say, violating the right. Say, Maya, one fa will be search no one funny phone and call. All those things are laid down procedures. Another issue raising and they say, baby, I had here in a call, a security zone. But that place, I remember a short commission. The proceedings were held there.
The Ayawasu
West Wagon case. It's the first time I had commission or committee. They are for hearing. You get the point? Then, and audience High Court and Supreme Court. High Court abobonin semini be good. And also on ECOWAS Court. She has all the right to go to ECOWAS Court. But one, in the wisdom of the Attorney General, as you say, ECOWAS Court and need the jurisdiction to sit on the matter. For me, one of the reasons, and they say, one, you're a sovereign nation. Two, it is required, say, over exhaustive internal legal procedures. Where we are, you still feel like you've been treated unfairly, then you can leave the jurisdiction of your country to another country. In this case, our case pending before the Supreme Court, yet she has ignored and has gone to ECOWAS Court.
Okay. Two matters and the one is the interim measures.
Okay.
The interim measures is the case na the abono.
Okay.
Which officer a kwanya ye fast no ye no in fana kwen.
Sure.
And untino what try the command ECOWAS Court to intervene to stop my justice Bafo Boni. And ECOWAS say wa me aka asem na wi and o de ba. They toss biem wa me aka asem no 3 weeks because they have a status bar. 3 weeks and ade ba intend do mu ntimi handle. Ba mi say they o keka sisi they no ka say baby e de ne koye ne na yi gratitude the yemfa ma no ne ehunu no the human rights aspect no eno na eno no we ECOWAS but the ECOWAS na throw their brain aban say responding 30 days. So you can say the jurisdiction in here we are a member state. We have something that we are sovereign state and they cannot but we are member state and we subscribe to that. So you might want to say the human right aspect and then
the reason why I made all these events came is just to bring the listeners' mind back to what has
to
happened.
refresh them.
And two, as I'm not suba and run the Jamaica jurisdiction issue, they say the MPP are working with the dismissal on the jurisdiction issue now. Deputy Attorney and Attorney General they call now. ECOWAS Court, say they have jurisdiction. You know that is what they are working with to look like. In case you get the point. But the American said and no has to do with issue of jurisdiction. Even let me tell you legally who the case be a court first court nankasa must abreast themselves with the case to determine whether they have jurisdiction
or not.
It's true. Because who the assembly we now who need jurisdiction have an issue. The issue is null and void. So let me finish. So we only wanted to determine because we were questioning the jurisdiction whether they have or not. And then the court and they say they have jurisdiction.
Okay.
On the issue of Tokonu, on no catch the court and they say the court should restrain the process. And no court no boy etuegu.
And they see about
an issue of compensation and other things. And no see here yabo etuegu. No, you are boy to issue of compensation.
And the human rights. Human rights. And no court to say responding.
No problem. But
so
there are two aspects of the case. But the substantive case.
And the interim measures and so within the content of the interim measures and it would be woman and about
because she's status bad.
Yes,
you get the point.
Yes.
So I get you saying that two of her issues has been dismissed. The issue of Attorney General was just that we were questioning the jurisdiction of the ECOWAS court.
Fantastic.
But the substantive issue is still pending. A pending issue.
And the substantive issue now pending the human rights.
The human rights.
The main one is the about to question.
No, but
and the young
no problem. But
and they are dead.
To conclude,
it is dead.
To conclude, Zigas, from where I sit, and the proceedings I may follow, I may take you through the proceedings where there has been no violation, neither constitutional, statutory, or regulatory violations, I don't think Tokonu's right has been violated in any way or in any form. Right. But yet, Nana, we wait to hear from what the ECOWAS
we see
has to say.
Nana, mami won pe baby tina no wan na home. Dia banya baby. And I say, o yes adi way for yenchirima dachi for president ayi. Let's dachi okay.
Asementina mami obre.
Afa so mama say
ebeba na ma menche bibi asi wa ha. Onze na minue kasa no na oka na a prima facie case was established and a president no prerogative and all the enkrata I say kwedu a the ball no crowd the man no so nhwemu no no ma enti bibi asi se obi ekasa medin ma yemfom so na se no kware emfom so ewo me ho a say o kire me mfom so kura ma ye
enti na okoti we na wanu pere fa cheme enu ti na okotu the article 146 ne say article 146 no read a baby enu ho no ma che say when the prima facie no is established as say me de kire me ka kire so no but o man panyin mahama and the free say oh mami anhwa daachi bi ye be ka say mami enu nti de mami je petition dia ma
so she was aware
exactly she was aware enti na
but per the law no there
let me person ye twi agin ba so no say one wabo mama ne say ne ebinum atro afa me ho nie na saa asem no so no na se mesu mi mi ho ano bi mi ho ano wi a abedwoku a atena asem no so the Parliament committee no omu ka ho asem wi a se o mama hu ba bia matochi mawo fi se me kotina asem so se me di asem na se asem na metena so nyame nko na mete so na emu committee and as on the bench ye nipa bi se num ene yetena wasem so at the Supreme Court na yetena so wie no na wabeka che obi atro krata aba se enam se me na me chief justice and mete abedwaku no enum se chairman no enzi no I'm incompetent. And now say, Obi actually the aba say, mene me honkafo, ana mene me ba biye to kwan akwa abrochi na ye kono. Judicial service no ene twa honka. Ni ebusa ye ho say, ade a ewo mu nkrata mu ana. Ewo mu nkrata mu say, metimi ne me kunu ana me ba na me busuani bi etu kwan. Judicial policy travel the travel policy no ewo mu. The travel policy of 2010 no ewo as I say it has to be fully founded by the judicial service. No.
Nane wadamo. No. Nane, I like your submission. But baby, I could say how ya pahu. Because that be been established and
asama all kind no entina me
okay.
Ni okofa ba hitra na ena sansem yi ena tokunu se woni men ni yie enti me de akodan Supreme Court na wono mo de kodan mo no nim se ono ananu no mo no mo tre bench no so eno mo se yenti wasem ena os okay fine mamemfa enko ECOWAS court na wo ho no eye no ma miensa ECOWAS court no no ma miensa baako ene say ansem wa fa human right abuse ho ena omudi hu asem 2 say aman mienu aiwa within the ECOWAS community ni mu entawantawa na say conflict bi aba no they sit as arbiters to resolve those issues ena 3 say oman baako asore etia no yonko no na omu eba mu to stop such things from happening. Omu adwuma so a ECOWAS court ni di no. Na yebusa ye ho say so obi ko ka say ECOWAS court no any jurisdiction. Na assemble na walking. Fi say we as a country Ghana ye party to the charter, the ECOWAS charter. Yen Ghana kra ni Nigeria na ye pioneers. ye share ya ye di be form sa ECOWAS court yi ECOWAS court no nana ubusa me a hwana mo na ye judge fo a omote so ene one ye president Justice Ricardo Claudio Montenegro of Cabo Verde on the president of the ECOWAS court. 2 Justice Sengun Mohamed Koroma Sierra Leone on the vice president. Then Justice Dupe Atuki of Free Nigeria. Then you were Justice Edward Amwakon Asante of Free Ghana. And the fifth one Justice Ouattara of Free Ivory Coast. Wenumu and judges sa omote ECOWAS court ene omoyenum Edward Amwakwa Asante efri oman Ghana mu enti se obeka kire me se oni jurisdiction ya eba ne se ni oni jurisdiction enti even going on that tangent crown wrong legally say what for oman Ghana judge akotena so say ono so tiso say a justice of that court other ECOWAS member states sa asamba wo mu enyina koho na ono atena mu say judge odi asem na wo wasem ba idea wo say on the onka ho say enti it was wrong initially but the essay minua Godwin tiase ne say the main substantive case ne there
but that one we are for
no ye ma sokra
yes
sesi ade ye botugu ye no say
interim
injunction na no osiki no say enka ye mfa tabon and also the last time ye tena ha me kan asem ne say a committee and as an arm of government as huge as the judicial service ye ntimi mfa nto ho and vacant say ye de twen akwa kopim bra ye be wie asemi kan nyina wie ansa na judicial no enya leader for the judicial service and the oman Ghana and asama to ye ya benato ye pa enti ono so no court no ahye no ama na te ase say abra unya wo letter omampanyin John Dramani Mahama de mawo say meyi wadi no by on the 22nd of April 2025 and atna wa 3 months echi and sana ode ebedom me say
3 weeks
ode emfa say 3 weeks and sana ode bedom me say how do you call it you ready na you infringe on your rights and all that enti after all these process now we follow we say injunction the emfa ma nemum the main issue of human rights violation in there they as a court have established say there's a prima facie case on that in that regard say you are trampling on her right no Ghana ya 30 days say Attorney General emra no me opening defense
ya tena na nige so a ECOWAS be ka say emra ma om ho kwan so betimi adi sa asem no but o ka say say omo stamping on ne right dia na cheze also so pass it the ECOWAS kan no. All right.
Omo report no amune ba ma menkan asem chona or say the ECOWAS court acknowledged that Tokonu had established a prima facie case of human rights violations but ruled that she failed to demonstrate the urgency required. That is why they did not.
Yeah, but uno can say ECOWAS, ECOWAS, you know. I said, but I'm going to see atna. ECOWAS see atna.
Ma say, ma establishing a prima facie case. Say, ya turn and
yes. So
and don't you know no compensation of the $10 million now.
Okay.
Or benefit. Say, now the air sort as and say, see, no, because of the fiat, no, God in aware. Say fiat in intino, ma no, the entitlements in our luzo.
So
we are aware.
Na TMA. When the God in na. Obia ebia wonya osa. Osa na tete wakwa enkoda. Tieni ye wakwa enkoda. Osa hudu obia wo so bia. Obikuta prostate enlargement. Ayeke say ye cancer so kra, odi problem. Menstrual pains, chronic cough, obi wo ho agbo wasa. E wani ntimi nkoda o ha to atwa
arthritis and swelling faces obi wo hono mo a arthritis inti o wenam kra na aba enam bi oba wi bia na aba wo ba na aba obi so hono mo a nanim ahonhona ma wode ne ho ba bia enye na afei eno ye tontina 74 ena se men kan kire wo se pebi na bobo na onom tontina 74 no a sa o how ni na to betwa diagnostic by industry for ena di we see aba no se men kan kire wo se ade pa treat ne kese pa de di kan blood related diseases they say high blood pressure, high blood sugar, chronic wounds, hepatitis B and C, HIV, HIV, kidney infections, liver infections, and also prostate enlargement. Bad breath, obi o hono ma seven prediasa. Obi na no kakra na enka kakra wu. Eno no uhia tontina 74. Tontina 74. Pharmacy bi abeko bia no benya biato. Herbal shop bi abeko bia no ubenya biato. Nene adwumanti no so opedo so puatu a akwakoto a number is 0244 0246 07 3498 0246 07 3498 and 050 162 8931 050 162 8931 we tontina tontina 74 eno no diagnostic herbal industry for the abreye na yegusu yeko enche yebeba ye fene say the illegal mining no menemo kasei the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference for their two that said debi ama panyini mahama kwan yo fa so a wo ko galamsey no wo mu hunu se ebetimi ayeye fi se na mumre bi ama panyini ni as ayifo hyiae central fo hyiae wo hyia no obi busa no eno kra ye no ya enua kojo preko dankwa na busa asa question so ama panyini ehu behia se we declare state of emergency ana eno ama panyini si bo ye wakwa bebre fa so des ekon galamsey esese ye hunu se the person yadi kuni na ya exhausting ni na ansa na yetimi declare state of emergency no oka ebe se 2 months muani but Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference for say 2 months mu ban o man panin shedan fade bia ngu ho ase hu a chese o person o chese wo ko galamsey no etiema ne sa benefit of the doubt no o mo sha ade no still ankoyie it won't declare state of emergency no bia nkosha dem bia chese yentu galamsey yentu ayi wo Ghana especially the hot places no se ne be ya yentu aboase na yenko sa enetie na ye kwaba na eno no yaba aba behye emuki na pa Godwin Mahama era so ha ena na dubu aso se e wa habuti wo hwade aye wo nusu ye bisibisi wo hwade ana aye mienu wo hwade ase esu oto wo hwade ase yahu ewusie bi de agu adu so wo hwade ase fok bi esi da bi yesi etu ase de ba afi wasi stroke, diabetes, hepatitis B, alcohol addiction wasi wemu ni na wo tu ase de ma stroke no fa alcohol yemiamiawo yama nu ebetu ase diabetes no and hepatitis B na alcohol addiction obi wo ho wanom nsasa obi ayase kura se bemprediasa kotokwane has na baba kura na bi ebelu sukura obetwansa wo bedidi obenu bi okodware obenu bi esa wontimi ebi sukura na wo mpene sa opese wo jai egu anu ase ese wo health no etu wase me fa bedan alcohol addiction obetu ase de ma fibroid adokro fibroid yi ukokoyi a 2 years na asenaba ukoyi 2 years na asaba de 2 years bia no ya de seka papa ho yem papa o ya be mu aduru abenu bie a be hye fibroid ni na emabiem kra ape cancer huduo bia o se fabra liver and kidney disorders o se fabra e betu ase de ma prostate disorder candidiasis o de pua sexual weakness be ma bi o wa yemre o de boss ahre mamenchia madam odebi ode mamenyai STD bia eno so no obetu ase e de mam bedwetting woda aya wo so da na wo dwonso baabi wo beda nyane no adwonso ye ne ye ni business yetimi dan ye dwonso kr ye beda nyane na ye kote somfo ne dwonso yare kono kokotu ase sa na HIV malaria and hodi na hodi eye kra bonus e de mam enti eso Herbal Hospital for NSC mo fa we sem bedai ni etu ase de mam o hwe akira kwan a ye wo Amasaman Stadium Junction Amasama Sedo Junction, a hot and your na phone number way 055 55 29 253 055 55 29 253 and a 050 344 944 4 050 344 9444 and a 027 2859 115 027 2859 155 way eso Herbal Hospital you should make a quine na the hobiano yanonka na Gordon Mahama I've got it. I'm a penishia now catch a man the benefit of the doubt na the one who be an yen fan galamsino but the Catholic Bishop Conference for us said baby adiane kone the emso man penisa 2 months no benefit of the doubt near the man no when to me it is be a druid yen declare state of emergency.
Zigas, before then your station is a very big platform. So and generally media is to educate and inform.
Yeah.
On the issue of Tokonu, my brother make a statement which is factually inaccurate. The traveling policy a war system Emma Wono. Ya wo ba ko a one your husband nkola betimi ayeden akọ. And ya wo ba ko a restricted for you to say ode or escort, let's say or security ebeko. In this instance, their SS ordin security econo. And ordin ni kunu. And then the back and then the back. No, that is the law. No, you see, this issue can inform them to amend their traveling policy. If they think there is something wrong with the policy. But until then, the woman na ye juma.
It is the NSN called this
security corner.
Which by the law.
By the law. And ordinary kunu and then a ba ekoye. As a ma won per diem.
And NSN called the security.
No, make sure they were paid. No, make sure. No.
$11,000. And it's the same.
No, education. No,
and it's the same.
Yeah, education. Yamano sika dudu bebre, which she is required. Oko yusuwe including the payment of per diem. Emma ni kunu ene ne bano. And also say when you suni na ena di akano or the buy. And no doesn't negate the fact that ni kunu ne ba were giving per diem. That is the issue. Mama yen create an impression. No, there is no way. There is no. See, Ziga, Ziga. You have followed this issue. You are a journalist. Where? Tell me where. Tokonu said, say, Nikunu, and then the ba didn't follow. Tell me where Oka said, Nikunu. Tell me where Tokonu ever responded, say, Nikunu, and then the ba were not giving per diem. Her response on this issue is say, Osi den tu kwanya, onfa ne bodyguard engo enko instead of Nikunu. That was her response on the traveling policy issue. She has never disputed the fact that or the Nikunu ne ba ne koye. She has never disputed the fact that they took per diem. Tell me, this is trite knowledge. This is public knowledge. Mama yem betena her and distorted the fact.
You are
so the issue is that Ubri Mrana. She's somebody who is supposed to protect the law. So if she violates the law and she's caught up with the law must take its own course. Maminko Jomahama Samson. No. She has interjected and responded to the issue.
2 minutes.
No, so let me go to the issue.
No, 1.5.
No problem. Zigas. Mimaka and I will repeat. Obi most journalists and Ghanaians follow say about this issue of the fight against illegal mining on ne report on an editorial Erastus. Anameboa. I will use your platform to call on Erastus. Say, on my an update, on the work done so far from January till end under the NDC. No mind the work done in the fight against Galamsey for the past 8 years.
Nine months accident.
For normal an update for the whole 8 years under the MPP in their quest to fight Galamsey. Zigas, I can tell you, say the work the NDC has done in the fight against Galamsey, villages are ready and other places within this 10 or 11 months far outweighs the effort the MPP put in the whole 8 years. I can tell you on that. So for me, I still stand by the fact that, and you see, secondly, for the first time, Yenya Baya Obabe created a tribunal, which as we speak, cabinet has approved the bill. The bill is yet to be submitted on the floor of Parliament for an appeal, purposely
for Galamsey
to deal with people who are engaged in illegal mining. So with all these things, the Obeka Chira me say Mampeni John Dramani Mahama, ain't need that political will, ain't need that opepano. Say Obeku tie this Galamsey menace no. Then Chale.
Nana 2 minutes now. But my make us as we say, man, Kessben we are a hard fee say. You will new program be offended the digest on Kessben TV, a Zoom program. Yesterday, me host you Erastus Asarodonko. Was see baby a kono. We should declare state of emergency. That's what he said.
That one is different from what. That one is different from what I am calling on him to do.
Okay.
I am saying the work so far in this government and the full 8 years of MPP, you realize that we've done better than the MPP in the fight against
Galamsey. Now so wada ade besa
na why na mama wu yo obaka si wu
se o mama ewu na se wo so wada ade besa ebe hu de ekombede no me se wo atamsika 270 ana bibi say we dey call sanitary pad ho adwuma na say wo tam 150 million say ekon a eye Galamsey kun ye hwese. According to I was listening to MP Bako Lanchini Tobu. I say it's supposed to be about 400 million and a bebuama ya consanto kwai. That's all for 150. Say million say no ni emfa nkoko ntokwa no ma. Ene na wonya hwe. Ono member of parliament. Ena na ekasa asem we. Tie, matina haka. Na mesensi subium say. Kwa kodu brebia. This Galamsey issue no. We should politicize it and look at it as a national security threat to Ghanaians. If you say, one more could be one tap, I na and so ne free mubani brown no. And so no, any man people for any man issue. Enim Calabiana be a near Calabina free muba. A brown neighbor, and no near say, T. Ghana for say, young mo ya home didn't know what trouble it yae. Enti waba. Na say ye say. And tokwana ye kono. Now we got my fight achemo bra 8 years amutina say my fight achemo busara rastos donko say ntokwa ne yenko enye no ho asam ne ye ka anya no ne ye patie. Ne ye patie ni say aban no ayen hyehyeye ama ya clamp down on Galamsey in Ghana. But unim die hu ni say aban ye wo so yi enra we see enya forex inflow bebre yesika sem kosoro yesika sem nanka ye 8 billion ena ye forex reserve ewo ho na sisi ya abaye $12 billion
your foreign reserve
for and I can no and about 12 billion
as of November last year. As of November last year, $8 billion.
Say about 12 billion. And yes,
ɛna nneɛma a yɛkɔduru hɔ no sɛ we are depending on two commodities which is gold and cocoa ɛna ma yɛsɔ up yɛnya sika free mu ama asɔ up but then cocoa production ɛwɔ fam less than even 50% at the moment na kyerɛ sɛ gold ɛna ɛma yɛ sika na yɛsɔ up na wo kungalam say meanwhile sika so a wunya no ɛyɛ gold yi ɛna neba me nyini sɛ Newmont ɛyɛ operations you have meton gold magana dividends de benye bi afri ho but omonton gold magana enti ye gold na ye fight say ye sabeka ni aton amansen dwa so ni enya sika e de aso up e de aye projects wo Ghana ha no galam say yi so e na ati say e ho aso na gold board for nkofo beton bi ma gold board for
it's not true no
oh me can say me oh mommy
I'm brought gold board and say one or more.
Oh.
That time without number said. Want to gold from illegal miners.
Mate. Hey, Mate. The enemy patcher was saying it's going to be difficult for us to fight Galamsey. Catholic Bishop Conference for say we should call for a state of emergency with respect to Galamsey. Listen, the heavy metals are buying in asen the mercury a omodi ye adwuma no say yemfu
okay
say yensu say enuaba na ye di eno ana metese m papa ka bibi say oye enya no kre heavy metals bi ani aduane mu
okay
agric minister
yedasi pa
you know he doesn't know what he's telling
yedasi okay therefore ye beda mo ase pa sabrede ye ko ba before e be kono mame chama de bi ansa na mako Bayport fixed deposit enforcement culture say the whole West Africa yen yekuta depositor ye papa na Bayport cement culture say yen no yenyan kofo no a wo de oba ho na sa oba be depositor na yes kofa 40,000 50,000 fabra de bi Bayport do betimi asase de 5,000 na o qualify so na ebre so na say adu sika yedu sika de mawa ye tuani ni na de mawo yenya ya no mo atwa bi na aka bi obu on so abekọ yeso computer no problem ho ada computer no problem nim yeso ye boss di ho ada boss be ho so no a ye twa bi na aka bi Bayport ntesa Bayport the whole day wo se bra na ye won fixed depositor wo de beto a 6 months na amateur ye wo bi on so say 1 year na amateur the opes o de ni na fixed deposit there so onya so fa so enye phone ye de koto ya de to ade kese etuko Bayport ne kopede fixed deposit abenya ho faso a obetimi dia atre waduma mu okay Sapon Richard apia ene hihye nsem ni na de maame a menso me present e de maamo betemu ma Kofi kodwopra ko dankwa nyame adomo a Saturday yedi na ye kwa abri na yakwa akọboa yenua no na sie ne maame eti mo amu creative for sports for radio presenters munina we politicians munina sawonte ya fe ye ka kire mo nyame adomo a meme de be ye na ekwa abri ni akwa akọboa kodwopra ko dankwa KPD na wakra ne maame achikra nyame adomo tena ebese hia sabredi ye ko anane boatin studio na Sergio Laka the sports na atwase e de amare the fam Nana Frimpong Ziega nyame adomo kire be se hia
This is 92.9